Monsoon storms are amazing to look at with all their dark clouds and lightning. First Alert meteorologist Pickering introduces us to some local photographers who capture these sights for cash.
I hit the ground right after it, and I remember him saying, "You're dead, you're dead."
Jeff Smith and Tom Willett have been putting their lives on the line to get great lightning photographs.
Our goal is to get as close to the storm as we can at the beginning of the storm without being in the storm to get the good shot.
These amazing photos are just some of the shots from their collection.
You know, we've been shooting lightning for 25 years.
Even though these Tucsonans have been taking pictures for a long time, lightning photos can be tricky.
If you're lucky, you get a couple of great photos in a year.
Once the picture is taken, the process to making a print is just beginning.
You know, an image, you might work on it for 3 days, just making it look as perfect as it possibly can be.
Then it's time to print. The flash of light Tom and Jeff saw just a few months before is now laid down, making a beautiful piece of art.
This print without the frame starts at $1,200. And as it's sold, every so many it goes up in price.
Both Jeff and Tom have sold their work to local businesses and had pieces featured in the Tucson Museum of Art. They're not just known locally, but internationally as well.
Tom had a photograph that was used as a postage stamp in
the UK.
In the UK.
Next, you know, every year the monsoon does a number on our roads, and little cracks like this are the least of our problems. First Alert meteorologist Pickering shows us the bigger the storm, the bigger the damage.
Monsoon storms can generate a lot of rain in a short period of time. All of that rain runs off into our washes, and anything in its path is swept downstream. That includes this soil, which is made up of a fine, sandy material. Even a little bit of water can make this a big mess for our roadways.
The sediment is usually 3 to 4 feet deep, even after a small flow, and of course has to be cleaned out before we can reopen the road.
Tons of sand, dirt, and other debris can pile up. But that's not the only problem for some of our roads.
The water will actually flow under the road, through the wash itself, and so you will have flow under and over the roads.
This can actually undercut the road, causing it to wash away. Before a street can reopen, the county has to inspect it and make sure there's no major damage. And remember all that sand and dirt that piled up in the road? It can't just be pushed back into the wash. It has to be hauled away.
There's clean water regulations which say that once we touch the debris in the wash, we can't leave it there anymore.
All of these cleanups and inspections cost a lot of money.
We're looking at anywhere from 40 to 50% of those cleanup funds.
That translates to more than $800,000 in 2007.
We make sure that they're safe to cross, and then we can reopen those crossings again.
You know, we could save a lot of money by simply... There are 2 microbursts that happen during the monsoon. The first one happens early on when we still have dry air at the surface. Thunderstorms start to rain, and that rain evaporates on the way down. That evaporation actually causes some cooling in the atmosphere, and that cool air is heavier than the warm, dry air at the surface. All of that cool air drops to the surface very quickly, hitting the ground, and spreads out at 60 miles an hour. The second type of microburst occurs because of a wet microburst. This happens when there's very weak upper-level wind. That stops the storm, and when the storm stops, the energy that's powering that storm actually falls apart and heads right to the surface of the Earth. When it hits the surface of the Earth, it spreads out in all directions, moving at 60 to 70 miles per hour.